Yeah, you know what?
Yes.
I'll ask the question later. Or are you still quarantined on Shabbos?
It's Monday.
Do I know? I don't know.
Rabbi Stein, you gotta take it. You're coughing and you're tired.
I'm tired. Yeah, I'm tired.
the
But actually, I'm
tire-
not so tired at all.
The tire's not a riot at anything. I've seen.
By the
Seattle-
way, my wife took a step back from it today. So,
Mhm.
Jesse, so that,
It takes time.
yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Okay, enough now.
All right, we ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're on. What do we started Siv Gimel, right?
Oh, grab a stick.
Yeah, this is Kitzur. We're not up to the daf yet.
Yeah, we started Sif Gimel. That's where my bookmark is.
We're in Gimel.
Gimel. Did we do Gimel? Could we just? I think we did Gimel. No, that you shouldn't dress too nice. Yeah. So we're up to Dalit. Simon Gimel Sif Dalit.
Shows you how much I was listening, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Lafi Shematzinu. Yeah, because so this that we find Hayamin hi chashuva b'Torah linyan avoda. So we see that the Yamin, the right hand, is chashuv in the Torah linyan avoda. Right, linyan bayin yaro bayin ragal shemiluim. Right, and using the right hand, not the right hand. What do you call it? The bayin, the thumb. Bayin ragal shemiluim of the milum. The Shal Metzayra and Tzaras too. Everything was with the right. Only in Mitzvah's Chalitza. And Chalitza also. Lachain, Belavisha, Lachain Bashar Dvarim, La'ilam Yaktim Shal Yamin L'Shal Small. Therefore, with wearing, whenever you wear clothing, and with everything else. See, that's an added line that a lot of people don't chap. He says with wearing, so okay, so clothing everybody knows, or I don't know, everybody knows, but it makes sense that I don't know, it makes sense, but you put on the right first, but it's with everything else too. You're always supposed to do the right to the left. So if you're cleaning your glasses, should you clean your right glass before your left glass?
That's assuming you're even thinking about this.
Correct.
It's just cleaning your glasses.
I'm just saying.
I hear you. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that's assuming you're even thinking about it. It's just your glasses.
Sometimes, believe it or not, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but sometimes I think about that. Should you do your right? So you do your right glasses before your left? I would think yes. You're muted, Raban. You're muted.
We're holding different places because I'm discussing with my wife over supper where she wants me to ask you about cleaning vegetables. I'm this whole year I've been cooking a lot in the house. She says, don't you think you should ask Yaakov about cleaning the vegetables already? It's about.
What do you mean with the bugs?
Clean the right one first.
Clean the right. Yeah.
I wasn't talking about it in the morning.
Either way, I don't know anything about checking vegetables. I purposely stay away from it.
Okay, fine.
But I send everybody to the apps. But either way, so I know for menorah also, some places contain that you should light the menorah on the right side of the window as opposed to the left side of the window. Okay, if you're doing it in the doorway, so obviously you do it within the doorway. But if you're doing it in the window, you should do it on the right side of the window, which I never really understood. Right? Okay, but whatever it is, he's saying the Levisha, and with everything else, you should always do the right before the left. Yeah. Now that's another reason, by the way, he brings here in the Piskei Teshuvos on the bottom. He brings why. That's why a lot of Chassidim. So we think that they button it because they don't want to look like either women or like goyim, right? That's why they button their shirts the right over the left. No, what do? We do left over right, correct?
Yeah.
I guess
Yes.
we don't. I guess
Yes.
we don't think about this too much either. That we all
Yes,
have to look down at our
I have
shirts.
my shirt on now. Yeah, I'm
I
buttoning
wear
it
I wear a
now.
Bekisha. I don't wear suits. I don't know.
So the
Yeah,
Becca
but
should go
ours
from
are
right
not
to
like
left,
women.
right?
Let's say ours are not like women.
No, right over left, I think.
Left over right. Look at your shirt.
Ours go left over right. The Becca should
Right, but
go
that's
right
not
over
like-
left.
The
Right,
Bekisha,
But,
my
but
Bekisha
ours
goes-
are not like women.
What's
Women are
ours
right over
mean?
left.
What is ours?
Our
means
shirt, a
It
men's
means
shirt,
us and
this
non-Hasidic, not Hasidic.
non-Hasidic shirt, men's shirts are
Our
left over
people in the
right,
shear.
which
Yeah,
is not like women. Women have right over left.
yeah.
So you can't say
Right, that's what it
Bekisha
is.
are like women.
Oh, so that's what it is.
Right.
Oh, Taka, that's very good enough, Toli. That's what it is. Oh, they're doing like women, right? The men are doing like the Hasidic men are doing like the women, but they'd rather go right over left because they want to do the right. The right should go first. So therefore, you button right over left. That's what he says is the reason, right?
the Shechina
Is
is
that-
Lashon Akeva.
Is that a Heintiger thing, or was that always a
Very
maybe it's a
good, very
Simon
good,
question?
Simon. Excellent.
Right,
You're
very
learning a
good,
lot.
yeah.
You're learning a lot of the Halakha books about the Shechina.
Is that
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
Joe,
It's good.
is that a Heintiger thing, or is that a Hasidic thing from like way back when?
You're the guys in charge of the history, the Hasidic history. I don't know
No,
anything about
Simon.
it.
I said maybe Simon knows, but I'm
Simon,
not,
you know when this started with the right over the left?
Look it up on the Giegel.
Ask Ami. Ami's the clothing historian.
That's true. That's true, Taka. Right, that is true. Okay, but he brings it from Minchas Tzion from Ribbenov. That's where he brings it from. He also brings a Chazon Ish that says to do that. The right should button over the left.
Well, Mendel Rimanover was 1820, so
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so that's who I guess that's who he's referring to. Then he also brings that when you wash your body, does anybody do this? You don't have to answer. Do you wash your right arm before you wash your left arm, meaning in the shower?
Some
Or
people,
bath,
it's hard to
whatever it is.
remember from month to month what they do.
Right, okay. Yeah, but whenever it is that you wash, do you wash the right? So we know that you wash your right hand before your left hand, fine. Do you wash your right side of your body before your left side of your body? Right, that's another thing. And then the Paiskim also bring that, the Mishabura actually brings this, that when you hand, I think I tweeted this out once, when you hand somebody a sefer, you should hand somebody the sefer with your right hand, not your left hand.
I eat the right slice before the left slice.
Maybe. I don't know, maybe. Right? That's another thing I was thinking with the glasses. Not that I really want to overanalyze it, but whose vantage point, right? Do you clean the right side, that's your right lens first, or the lens that somebody sees you? Right, which means it's the left lens. But I would think it's your right.
Yeah. I mean,
Anyways, tzedakah also should be given with the right hand. Yeah, fine. Yeah, so that's that. Now, what about a lefty? What about a lefty? So does a lefty do the same thing? Does the right go first, or does a lefty do his right, which is his left?
It's a pagam. It's a pagam. They should be doing right over left anyway.
That was yesterday's daf, right? But true. But Lamaisa, a lefty, what's the story? So here he brings from the Ber Moshe. It's interesting that nobody before that was brought this down, but he brings it from the Ber Moshe that you should a lefty should also do it. Right, the right has chashivas having nothing to do with your stronger hand. So he brings that a lefty would also do his right first. Yeah. Okay, so let's be back into Shulchan Aruch. And taking off the shoes and taking off clothing, and then you do it the opposite direction. The left comes off first, because that's the way you give cover to your right, by letting the right go last. What's a pshat in that? Why is letting the thing go last? So shouldn't first be more covered?
I get an achron chaviv. No, whatever. I don't know when you say that.
I don't know. What don't we say that you should let somebody else go before you? That's the sign of chashivas.
Yeah, for the second person. Yeah. So the chivas for the right is that the left goes before him.
No, shouldn't. I'm saying if you're opening a door, right, and there's somebody chashiv, so you hold the door open. You're saying that
Yeah,
opening the door is
It's like
considered is taking off this.
Yeah.
Okay, I never thought of it like that. I'm too busy thinking about which glasses to clean. So I don't know. Okay, I hear.
No, you're staying outside because the Rosh Yeshiva who just came, they just opened the door for him. So you have another 10 minutes till the chuppah starts. So you're still waiting outside.
I hear.
Is it just me or is there a band playing?
Oh, is that bothering the Olam?
It's called his son.
All right, I thought I'm hearing things again. Okay.
No, is it bothering the Olam? I'll tell him to stop.
No, those are
No,
voices.
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's keeping me up.
okay, that's good. I don't even hear it. I almost don't even hear it anymore. Okay, so weiter. That's considered being mechabed the right. But for tying, a small chashav yosem ibnei shekosh and all of it's a tefillin. So the left always goes first when it comes to tying things, because since you tie the tefillin on your left arm, so then that would make that's.
So that would go the opposite for the lefty.
So then the chayra in that case, then the lefty, right? Then the lefty should tie his right shoe first. Well, first of all, one second. Does this apply to shoes? Does this just apply to tying something on your arms? Right? So that's what he says. Let's finish it off and then we'll discuss it. When you have to tie, shall small tchila, right? So when you need to tie something, you do the left first. Go in menalim sheyeshbim kshira. If you have shoes that you have to tie them, noyal shel yamin ve'enei kosher. So what you do is you put on the right shoe, don't tie it. Noyal shel small, put on the left shoe, v'kosher, and then tie it. V'achakach kosher shel yamin. And afterwards, then you tie the right side, v'chein b'shar begadim, and the same thing by other begadim that have knots. What else would have knots? So I don't know what we do with tying. I don't think we have too many begadim that we tie. But what
Sweatpants?
Sweatpants have two different knots?
No.
But what about, here's the thing, what about buttons? Are buttons considered a knot? Buttons, Velcro, etc. Are those considered like tying? Right? So yes, we do look at that. I saw today that we look at the buttons and Velcros as if it's tying. So therefore, yes, when you put on your shirt, right? For those that button their shirt sleeves, right? So when you're buttoning them, you should put on your right sleeve first, then your left sleeve, and then you should button your left sleeve and then your right sleeve, right? Because buttoning has to do with kosher. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw them Shomer Tzion Balacha. Simon, you got your Shomer Tzion Balacha yet? You got it delivered yet? Or you,
No,
there?
it's on Twitter.
Didn't get it yet?
No.
I'm getting mine tomorrow.
All right, so I think that's where I saw it. I thought I had it here.
eBay, baby.
There you go. Hold on, let me just check that because of course.
How is it set up in the Sefer? The 4 halakim, I'm saying.
Wait till tomorrow.
Kitzur on the top, Shomer Tzion Balacha Ba'alacha in the middle, and then there's Kunshas Achron because he wrote an addendum afterwards. So depends which version you have. Some of the Kunshas Achrons in the back, some it's on the bottom. Okay, I don't see it here either, but I'm pretty sure that's what the post can say. That you should, yeah. Fine. Now, what about What happens if you only do on your left hand, but your feet? Meaning, you could be a lefty in feet, and you could be a lefty in hands, and not necessarily a lefty in the feet. Meaning, you could be a lefty in your feet and a righty and a lefty in your hands and a righty in your feet.
What does that mean?
I don't know what this is negaya to, unless you play soccer, right?
What are you saying? Somebody who bats left and throws right? What do you?
Right, yeah. So yeah, I don't know what the Paiskim are talking about. Like, what is this negaya, right? Unless the only thing is maybe it's negaya to you which step if you take your left foot first or your right foot for Isa Shalom.
Is this not? This doesn't go into like the whole conversation that people have about retraining people so they put their tefillin on as a righty.
No, that's what Simon was saying before, but that's what some people do, yeah. Right?
I'm saying, so that guy, the guy who gets retrained is still a lefty on his feet.
No, we're talking about for the feet.
Are people supposed to do that, by the way? Because my son, I think, is becoming a lefty.
It's a chassidish azach. Well, you're a kohen. You got bigger issues. If
no, but I'm saying, is it not as chashuv to be a lefty?
It's not clear. It's considered a move.
No, why the halachas are just different for you? Doesn't mean it's less chashuv.
Yeah,
in the base of
Naftali, I would have been. That was the reason I didn't become a Rosh Yeshiva, because I'm a lefty. I knew all Shas and Paiskim, but they said you can't be because you're lefty.
Hey, listen, I believe it.
Listen, why? If your son is going to become a kohen, then they're not going to let him do the avodah if he's a lefty.
Wow.
That's a shtickler issue.
I think my son does everything with his left foot and his right and his left hand.
So what are you saying?
He does everything with his left, like his left hand and his left foot. I think he does his left foot first.
That's what most lefties, I think, do, right?
After my brother. My brother's also lefty. I should ask him.
No, because it's interesting that he brings it to machlokes in the Paiskim. Let's say a person he's a lefty, but he's not a left-footed. He's not a left-footed. He's a lefty in the hand and not a left, right? So the Mishnah Berurah says that he should do the regular way.
Now, right? Also, what about buttoning your shirts? Are you allowed to go like everything straight in the way, or do you have to throw everything off? Like every other one, or not do everything straight with the button?
No, I think you could just do it regular. You're supposed to probably do it from top to bottom. That's the only thing that I know, right?
That's only to make sure you buttoned all the right buttons with the right holes.
Right. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, so then. Now, what about untying your shoes? Are you supposed to untie your shoes in the opposite? Meaning, so let's take the classic righty case. Okay, so you put on your right shoe, left shoe, tie your left shoe, tie your right shoe, right? That's for sure we're saying that you should do if you're a righty, if you're a classic righty. Now, when you're taking off your shoes, so you're supposed to take off your left shoe before you take off your right shoe.
Yeah.
Do you have to untie? Do you have to untie?
Yeah, but
there's one more.
Untie your left, untie your right. Take off your left, take off your right.
No, that's the question. Do you have to untie it backwards also?
Did they come out with a chart for this, like the matzah chart? You need like a chart for this. You hang up by your wall.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, I get. Can you imagine?
Shmuel David, you could donate it to all the mikvahs. You could.
I'm not getting laces anymore. I'm not getting laces anymore. It's too complicated.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's easy without laces. Yes. Anyway, so you don't have to. Meaning, should you, because it's covered for the left, to untie your right shoe? So that the person say you don't have to do that. Yeah. But okay, but there are those that say that.
What happens if you take off your shoes without untying them? Do you have to untie them the left one first before you put it on the next time?
I could just tell you what I do because I don't untie my shoes. I slip them right off. So
and when you put them back on,
I put on the right shoe first. Yes, that I do. That much I do.
What's that? But untying. So we tie it because it's filling, right?
Yes.
So what does untying have to do with it?
No, because
You
we
do
said that
untying is
whichever way you get dressed, you get undressed the opposite, right?
right, but the tying is not. The right is more chashiv. So you want the right to stay on the whole time.
No, but for
The right's
tying,
more
the
chashiv.
left
You
is
put it
more.
on,
For
but it's not.
tying,
It's
the
no.
left.
The act of tying is more chashiv. Not that
So
it
that
should
makes
stay
it-
on longer.
Okay, so that's part of the disagreement. Whether how do you look at it? That's part of the disagreement. How you look at it, right? Yeah. Anyways, okay, fine. So that's that. Hey. So Yizarim a little bit shnei begodim biyachad mishum dekasha l'shikha. Oh, so this is an interesting halacha. You got to be careful not to put on two articles of clothing at the same time, because that will cause you to forget your Torah. Yeah.
Does the same thing hold true by taking stuff off?
Does it? So some say the Kitzur only brings taking it and putting it on, but the Paiskim say that you don't have to. You don't when you take it off. You also should, but you don't.
Putting one on hasn't helped. Hasn't
only
helped you
putting-
remember anything.
It doesn't say that. It doesn't say you're gonna remember if you put on one. It just says that if you put on two.
Can't forget
You're
what
gonna
I don't
forget.
remember.
Correct. So you don't, right? So that's now I tell you what, this is very negeya.
Why is this always the punishment for doing things bad, like leaving open or safer? Like always, this is the thing they come up with.
A kosher l'shikha?
Yeah.
Well, because
that's
it's not
what's
fun.
important. That's
It's
what's
not fun
important.
to forget. Lamaisa, it's not fun to forget. Right?
Like not being, like killed early. Or
I mean, would
whatever it
you'd
is.
rather curries? I'm saying
I don't
you'd
know, I'm
rather
saying.
curries?
I guess.
Anias. Would you rather anias?
Malchus?
Kosher anias. Right.
Would you
That's
rather
another one.
Malchus?
Right. I guess.
No, but I'll tell you what, this is the most negay, because I don't know when is this stuff so negay to put on two articles of clothing at the same time.
In the winter, you could do it, or going to sleep, you could do it, or
Sometimes clothes get stuck together. I'm saying like an undershirt and sometimes I pull off a shirt and it comes together.
Oh, so that's
Yeah, like
taking
if you're
off.
wearing a
That's-
polo
Taking
shirt
off is
and
more right.
t-shirts, it
Taking off,
says.
it happens more.
Taking off is less chummer. Taking off is less chummer. The Kitzur says putting on. He doesn't say taking off.
But sometimes if you're taking it off and you just put it back on later, the t-shirt
Oh,
sits
okay.
it's still
I know,
inside the polo shirt.
Right, that's true. But how about a hat? If you stick your yarmulke into your hat and then you put on your hat, right?
Your yarmulke is
For
not a
those-
clothing.
see, if you're
Yarmulke is not a
old
beggar.
school- Old school, they took off their yarmulke and put it in their pocket, right?
Right.
Many a time I saw him not the Greenblatt.
That's not a double covering. I thought the
Start a
whole
shear. He would come in. It was a classic to see Reb Nata Greenblatt to start a shear. He takes off his hat. He starts the shear without a yarmulke. Right? He puts the hat down. He's already in the Rambams and the Psukim. His yarmulke is still not on his head. He's moving. Takes
I
it
thought the
out.
whole point is a double covering.
What?
I thought the whole point is a double covering.
But that's for davening.
So I'm saying these people that are davening with a hat, they put their hat, they put their hat off, they take the yarmulke, and they put the hat back on.
he's talking old school. That weren't as religious as you, Naftali.
Yeah, but
And the
what about
hats
what
have a
Naftali
double
Weiner
covering.
said?
There's the
The
hat and
yarmulke
then there's a
beggar?
lining inside.
Yes, okay, that's debatable. When we get to the davening Hashem, we'll discuss that. But Lamaisa, the place can say that you shouldn't do that. I saw this when Rabbi Belsky quoted. He says you should not put your yarmulke into your hat and put it on. That's putting on two articles of clothing. That's kosher l'shikha. And I trust Rabbi Belsky when he says kosher
So
l'shikha.
that explains why I'm
But
not
didn't really
remembering.
forget.
But a yarmulke is not. A yarmulke is an article of clothing.
Yes, that's what exactly what they're saying. Yeah.
Why isn't it an article of clothing?
It's not. It's a beged. You would call
Why
it a
wouldn't
beged?
it be an article of clothing? Why not? You pay more money for the yarmulke.
I don't know. I don't know. I
undershirt.
just figured it's
How
not.
much you spend for a yarmulke?
I don't know. $3.
How much you spend for an undershirt? You get it for $1 an undershirt. No?
Okay, but it's also not. It's also.
I don't know. My wife gets them on
the
Amazon.
size.
My wife gets them my undershirts.
I understand, Shmuel David. I wasn't cautious you that, that
Well, here's another thing. I'll tell you the other one that's negay, and the Aruch HaShulchan says it's okay. putting on your shoes. A lot of people put on both shoes at the same, at least me, or slippers, right? You get up in the morning, you have slippers next to your bed, right? So you slip both feet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If tonight we're really nitpicking, okay. But listen, I'm quarantined for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It's
So you got to make
3
sure that
weeks
your
already,
right
no?
slipper is a little bit closer to the bed than the left.
No. So the Aruch HaShulchan, the quotes here, the Aruch HaShulchan says that it says levisha. You should be careful from wearing. Ne'ilah, shoes you could put on at the same time. Aruch HaShulchan says shoes, slippers, you could put both in at the same. So therefore,
So then why are they going into socks and put this one on, put that one on, tie this one, tie that one?
No, that's how you putting on 2 socks at once. That would be pretty nice.
No, I'm talking about your shoes. If shoes don't matter, then why is there this whole section on put on this, put this one on, then you put that one, then you tie
right
this.
and left. That's right versus left. That you're supposed to always do the right side first. That doesn't make sense. Here we're talking about anything you do, you should do your right side first. All right, but here, this is talking about a different Indian of putting on 2 articles of clothing at the same time. So the Piskei Teshuvos quotes the Aruch HaShulchan and says that for shoes, it doesn't apply to shoes. It only applies to clothing. So therefore, you could put on both your slippers at the same time. You got a Geshmaka Kula. I don't know if it's Geshmaka Kula, but whatever. If you thought
So,
of
see, Yaakov, so you're saying everything already. So what about haircuts or shaving?
The right side of your face first.
Especially the people who have a family member shave them or give them a haircut. So you're having a yid do it. If you're not doing by a guy, so you can't, you can tell your son or your wife or your brother, whoever's doing it for you, to do it that way.
And Hanami, I never thought about shaving the right side first.
Now, if a yid is cutting your hair and he's facing you, is it his right or your right?
Okay, this is where
So that's how I was asking before.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I was asking about the glasses, but the taka shaving, or should you do? Or let's say somebody's elderly or whatever, who needs help putting on the shoes. What do you do? Right? When you're putting them on the shoes, do you put it on their right or their left? Or you're dressing a kid. So I don't remember what we said. I thought we say that you should do it your right. But I don't remember. Believe that, I'll try and look it up.
You said do it on their right.
What'd you say?
You said do it on their right, because I started doing that with my son and his.
They're right. I don't know. I don't remember. I think right. I think it's their right. I think you're correct. It's their right. We go with their right. But you're right, Taka. But also shaving, even your own shaving or your own trimming or whatever it is, you should do the right side first. Yeah. Now you say you're looking in the mirror. So
Why is everyone shaving? Why are we talking about shaving? I see
trimming.
We're talking about why are we talking about shaving?
Khalila.
Oh, you hear that? Okay, fair enough. Fine. Okay, so now we start with yarmulke. Yeah, fine. Now we get into the whole halachas of yarmulke. So also leilich dalet amas. It's also to walk dalet amas alahitzim mipiv davar shebegedusha begilei arosh. Okay, so it's also to walk 4 amas or to say any davar shebegedusha with your head uncovered. Right. So now that's. So first of all, it's usher to go 4 amas. That's a strong lashon, right? That doesn't say like if you're playing basketball or you're running and yarmulke falls off that you're allowed to continue. Doesn't say that there. It just says it's usher to go dalet amas, and it's also usher to do davar shebegedusha. For some reason, the Welt put in that they think that you can't eat you're not allowed to eat without a yarmulke. That doesn't say here. The bracha. Let's say middle of the night, yeah, you need to take a drink. Yeah, so assuming that you're making a bracha, that's why you'd have to cover your head. But stam to drink, if you're not walking, to drink.
So if I don't make a bracha, I don't need to wear yarmulke?
Yeah. I mean, the minig in the Welt became like that, you can't eating without a yarmulke. isn't it? It's coming up now. It's coming up the big winter vacation week. Yeah, so people sitting at pools and they want to eat or drink. So me'ikra, then you don't need a yarmulke. You need a yarmulke for the bracha. It's a whole shaila in the paiskim whether you even yaitza. The ma'isa we paskin if you make a bracha without a yarmulke, you're okay. You don't have to repeat the bracha. But it's not a pashut thing. So, but those are the two things: the going dalet amas and not saying a davar shebek kedusha. Now, saying maidani is maidani a davar shebek kedusha. You have to find your yarmulke before you say maidani.
We went through this because you know.
Oh, so we said benegeya, so your hands don't have to be clean. We said you're not saying Hashem's name, so your hands don't have to be clean.
Yeah, but you can't. You could say a bracha, not a bracha, but davar shebek kedusha without a yarmulke on.
Why is it a davar shebek kedusha? It's a pasuk.
It's a modani.
Not it, right? But there's no Hashem's name, so we said your hands do not have to be clean.
No, but a yarmulke. You don't need a yarmulke.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's weird if you say modani without a yarmulke. It's part of tefillah.
It's a tefillah. It's a thanking.
Whether it's Shem Hashem or not, it's still, you're doing it still for Shem Shemayim.
It's tefillah sodah. I don't understand.
It's not. Yes, that is true. It is. It's a haidah. But if that's the case, then how are you allowed to do it with your hands dirty?
I asked you that 2 weeks ago.
So because it's not, because there's no Hashem's name. It's not Hashem. It's not.
Can you answer Amen without a yarmulke?
I would think you shouldn't, because
I thought Amen
stands for Kel Melech Nemon.
And not that Amen is saying like basically the same thing the bracha is saying. You're agreeing with it, right? So it's like you're saying the bracha.
So
itself.
so that's why he said he can't wear. You have to wear.
Yeah, I would think you have to wear. I would think you have to wear a yarmulke.
Exactly. Or if it's a man and a woman, right? A man and a woman.
I don't know. I hear that it's a davar shebek kedusha. Maidani is a davar shebek kedusha. L'chayra. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, so now what's the size of the yarmulke? The first tshuva nigras Moshe. This is the first tshuva nigras Moshe about size of a yarmulke.
Big enough to see it from all sides.
Right, that's what Ramosha says. It should be at least big enough that you can see it from all sides. Although that's the Mekel Shita. The more prevalent Shita is that it should cover roiv of the head. That roiv of your head should be covered. So obviously, depending on how big your head is.
What's the difference?
No, because you could have a yarmulke on your head as long as somebody standing in front of you or behind you or on the sides can see it. I think it would be definitely the people on the sides should be able to see it. Right? It doesn't have to be so big in order to be seen on the guy's head. Right? That doesn't have to be roiv of your head. Roiv of your head is a lot. I mean, my yarmulke is pretty large, right? This covers roiv of my head, right?
But to be able to see it from all sides, it's got to be a pretty nice sized yarmulke.
If I would take my yarmulke now, okay, one second.
I'm not talking about like wearing a little Sephardi fez on the top of your head.
I'm saying, let's say I folded it now. I folded it into a third right now, right? I put it on my head. I think you could see it. Can you see it? Stand away. Can you see my yarmulke?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So now then the truth is you're right, but maybe it's thick, then you could see it. So I don't know how that plays in, right? But that's a Ramosha. That's a
Yaakov. The Zayden Muncie wore two yarmulkes all the time. He wore two yarmulkes.
Why? Because
he had his whole head covered.
Because he couldn't find the yarmulke?
Not exactly on top, like front and back. He wore two yarmulkes.
He couldn't find the yarmulke big enough. So
to cover the whole head, yeah. So he wore two yarmulkes all the time.
Yeah. So he brings here from the Aruch Rabbeinu, from the Chazanish. The Chazanish held that the whole head should be covered, the entire head. Right? I don't even think my yarmulke does that. No, I don't think it does. It's even. I think it would have to.
You need to add a second one.
Maybe. I'm never get enough trouble with this one.
That's why the Baba Sali, I believe, wore this style of headdress.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I could hear the Mikabalim doing that.
I remember Gabriel saying something like that.
Interesting. Okay, fine. So let's see weiter. Begam haketanim, back in the Kitzur. Begam haketanim. Oh, so what's that? What about wearing a yarmulke to sleep? Now, l'chayra, it says only dalaramas. Less than dalaramas, you could do. You can go without a yarmulke, right? So when you're sleeping, I would assume you're not, unless you sleepwalk, right? You're not walking dalaramas. So it's mashman, according to the Pashat halacha, you don't have to wear a yarmulke.
Who is it that holds or the time it takes to walk Daled Amos?
I promise. I fell off.
Oh, I don't know.
Hit my
I don't
head
know.
on Rivka's bed and it was bleeding.
I don't know.
What's it?
I wasn't bleeding.
The fellows were tining that Modani's Davaship Kedusha. What's a Davaship Kedusha? Is a niggin a Davaship Kedusha?
I would think so, depending on the niggin.
So can you sing a niggin in the shower? You can't sing a niggin in the shower without words.
Oh, I get. You have no idea how often I get the shaila of singing the gunim or playing music in the shower. Can they play Jewish music with with even with psukim and this and yes, I get. At
That's
least
what 10-10 wins is for.
Who knows what 10-10? This daughter don't know what no 10-10 wins is. You're old. You just aged yourself there, Jesse.
He has a footnote here in Rabbi Davis.
Yeah.
According to the Mishnah Berurah, in our times, you are not even permitted to sit in the house with an uncovered head.
Oh, because so that's
So how does that apply to your bed?
And Hanami. Then according to that, because he's going with, I'm assuming he's going with the Taz. Does he quote the Mishnah Berurah according to Taz?
He doesn't say the Taz.
He doesn't say, okay, because the Taz holds that nowadays that a Yid wears a yarmulke and a Goy doesn't, so you're over on Isser Daraisa. I think we mentioned it last week. You're going, you look like a guy. If you don't wear a yarmulke, you look like a guy. So that has nothing to do with Yiras Shamayim on your head. This is an additional reason. The reason why you're not supposed to walk Daled Amos is because you shouldn't go without always having Yiras Shamayim, right? But okay. So sitting is fine. I don't know why you don't need Yiras Shamayim when you're sitting. I don't know, but that was the formula that they said. But once the Taz discusses that it's a Isser Daraisa, it's looking like a guy, then Taka, you can't look like a guy sitting in one place and then they're walking around, right? So I'm assuming that that's what that's referring to. Yeah. So I mean the Maisi brings from Chassidim, I think wear shluf couple, right? Chassidim. Simon, Chassidim wear shluf couples. I think most Chassidim do that, right? Not just nanachs, correct?
Right.
Nanachs wear it the whole day. I'm saying, but I think that's where shluf couples.
Yeah, you can get the white yarmulkes without the nana.
Yeah, I remember the old day. Yeah, you could. Yeah. So that's okay.
Well, why wouldn't
Oh, that's a different question. That's a different question. Okay, so let's see. So the Kitzur says that even kids, you have to make them wear a yarmulke. They should have Yiras Shamayim. We found by Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. The people that's the stargazers, right? That this guy's going to be a ganav. But she never, right? I think this is Gemara on Shabbos, no? That she never let him go without a yarmulke. Right. Shabbos Kufnavot, it's at the end of Shabbos. Right? So,
yeah, I actually remember this.
Yeah, so cover your head, right? And then what happened one time, the yarmulke fell off and he was sitting under a tree and he quickly jumped up and grabbed the fruit from the tree. Right? So the yarmulke mamish saved him. The yarmulke mamish saved him from becoming a crook. Right?
Rav Shach's mother, one time
What are you saying?
Rav Shach's mother, I don't remember the entire story. He was walking when he was a kid, and his yarmulke dropped off, and he stopped walking, but he waited to do something, maybe put something down, and then picked up the yarmulke. She started crying, and told him and said that, like it's a surah of a yid to have it on or something. I have to look at the book, it made like a big roshim on him, and so that he always wore a yarmulke. Like he always had like a shuf couple, all that stuff. There was just something about a yarmulke and Reb Shach that.
Hey, I hear that. Interesting. It worked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what about
the Pope has the yarmulke also, by the way.
Well, they stole that from us, right? Now, what about walking around a mikveh or a swimming pool without a yarmulke? As far as I know, the minhag in the mikveh is not to wear your yarmulke to the shower and then from the shower to the mikveh, I think, right? But in the swimming pool already I've seen people be more makbid, that they keep the yarmulke next to the pool, and when they get out of the pool, they put on the yarmulke, right? I would think that those
Well,
that
that's
wear
because they
baseball
want to have they're hoping somebody's waiting for them with a cocktail when they come out of the water.
right, yeah, that's right. You got to be at the right pool for that, or the right tayamel, or whatever it is. But I would think, everybody's into baseball caps nowadays, so I would think you should wear a baseball cap when you're in the pool area, except when you're Amish swimming. I don't know, Rabban, this is for you. I mean, you're the swimmer. But
would that help for the Taz? The Taz wouldn't care about a baseball cap, would he?
I don't know, Taka. I don't know. What would the Taz say about a baseball cap? Adarabba might be worse, right?
The Taz was smart enough to say, "Who's he trying to fool?" There's a yeshiva guy over there. What?
Yeah.
That's if it's a Yankee cap.
Listen, I have to tell you, okay, when I've gone to Florida and I meet guys and I'm looking for a minion and a guy walks over to me and he's wearing a cap and shorts and a t-shirt, I have no idea that the guy is a Frumiyid. No idea whatsoever. I'm not here to give mussar. I ain't giving mussar. I understand I can't hide it. I mean, okay, but I'm just saying that it's you can mamish have no idea that a guy is that he's from, and then all of a sudden they hit you. Hey, you want to down mincha? It's like what, right? So
I don't know. It's the opposite in the Bronx. They wear some of these managers. They wear these caps, and you could spot them a mile away.
Right.
Well, that's because of the Bekisha.
Right. Yeah.
That's because the pay is
spot them a while away. No, that's because they point. That's because they have like a point on the top, and they're crumpled, and they don't wear them like a normal person.
Right. Yeah. What are you saying, Ruben?
That you see more in Eretz Yisrael. No, we haven't been here in a while, but in Eretz Yisrael, you see when they call out mincha, you're in a public place. Mincha, and all of a sudden you see guys you have no idea that they're wearing bathing suits. They have no yarmulke. Mincha, they're right there in a second.
Are you talking about Svardim? Are they Svardim?
Yeah, whoever it is, most, and end up a lot of them is Svardim, but you have no idea. But you have a mincha in 2 minutes. You have a mincha.
Yeah. Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing. Well, listen, but the Svardim. See, the Svardim, we should have actually discussed that. The Svardim have their Messiahs not to wear yarmulkes. Yeah. A lot of the Svardim, there's from as me and you, if that's called from, whatever. At least me, part. I'm saying they're hanhoggers that they didn't get. A lot of them didn't have this musig of Yerushalayim that you need to have it.
Some of the Sephardi doctors in the hospital that are stark.
Yeah.
No yarmulke at all.
Well, that's a different sugya. Dr. Ryan, all of a shalom, didn't wear a yarmulke even in his Rabban, right? Even in his office. I don't
remember.
I'm pretty sure. I have to ask my mother. I'm pretty sure Dr. Ryan in the hospital for sure not.
When did Dr. Ryan die?
Yeah, but that's a long time ago when people made that minhag, not now.
Dr. Ryan's father.
His son is good and well. His father was a doctor.
Good and well and in Israel.
That's why he's good and well.
Yeah, this is I think Henry Ryan, right?
Henry Ryan, correct. Henry Ryan. So he did not. I don't think he. I remember asking my mother about it when I went to Zov. Like, why is he not wearing a yarmulke?
Well, there's a lot of older doctors that don't wear their yarmulkes at work, but the newer generation, they all do.
Here, right? That's an old school zach.
This young kid asked him why you're not wearing a yarmulke.
Yeah. Okay, my son says his dentist doesn't wear a yarmulke.
I have the same dentist. It's because it falls off when you
lean forward. Is that Harold?
Where's Harold?
No, is that his dentist?
No. I know who he's talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
He
Whatever.
leans
it is,
on the
that's not
counter,
the
but that's
Right
because
here.
he leans forward and falls off.
Oh, you mean for a dentist?
Yeah.
Maybe
What
his
do you say?
dentist is a woman.
Harold, you wear a yarmulke, no?
Yeah, I do.
Does it ever fall off onto a patient?
No, because I have a bobby pin in.
There you go. Brilliant,
There you
right?
go.
That's a good answer.
That's Lois Silbash, no.
Right. I hear. Okay, so I guess we'll stop here. So that's that sugi. Fine. All right, so we'll continue with the daf in a few minutes. All right. Good enough. For those that are signing off.
Simon, you're muted. I was
What?
curious, what do you do as far as dog food on Pesach?
What?
What do you do as far as dog food on Pesach? The food you
Oh,
use, is it normally chametzik?
exciting topic going on here.
Sell the dog, sell the food, and watch it for the guy.
So you stipulate that you're selling the dog and you're gonna watch him. But that also means now you've got chametz in the house, unless the food is kitnius.
You can have chametz in the house. You technically
No one wants chametz in the house and there's little kids around.
We put it in the laundry room too.
Jesse, the kids are not eating the dog food.
Or at least by the stairs at least.
We're going to the south for Pesach. You never know what these kids are gonna do.
Where you going?
Mirz Hashem, if my parents are able to get their shot this week, then we're going to Atlanta.
Nice.
I would ask Bianca what to do about it. But
I'm going to. I was just curious what you do because I'm sure you already asked.
well, he's also the one I asked, but our situation is a little different. Our dogs have very weak stomachs.
Midwesterners.
They were weak from New York. Well,
Mhm.
the one from New York was weak. But
Not really sure.
Simon, did you say your dogs have weak stomachs?
yeah.
Why do you guys have dogs?
What?
Why do they have dogs? I
Needed
say
it.
this again
COVID.
as a man who had dogs in my house throughout my childhood. I don't say this from a man who never had the experience.
We
love
got
it.
it because of COVID.
I love animals.
Terrific. Go to the zoo.
We're actually going this Sunday.
What? Go to the zoo? Oh, why do you have kids? Why just go to an orphanage? I like having animals.
Did you just go ahead and your children are going to be therapists if you're going to go ahead and collect animals?
I mean, my kids. You know.
Listen, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh?
If that's the reason why they need a therapist, we're doing well.
Aaron, I don't even recognize you in that without your kaput on.
It's a new pajamas he's sporting today.
I know. I'm uncomfortable with it. I want to see the Yerushalmi begadim.
Yeah. I'm
Marchak,
sorry to make you uncomfortable.
be careful what you wish for, Mr. Marchak.
I'm telling you, when those warm months come back, we're going to see the tank top out again and those beautiful shoulders of Aaron Kaplan's. Aaron Horowitz's.
On the porch.
I got to shut it down for a second. You're going to have to re-log in. I got to stop the recording. Sorry, guys.
What, because I'm talking about Aaron's shoulders?
Right.
Did he tell us to get off?
Well, he wants us to go off.
I think so. Very impressed. Aaron Kaplan eating peppers.
Like that, I'm very healthy. I'm back on the major diet.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
I think he's going to throw us off. I don't think we're going to have to log off at all.
Rabbi Aaron Horowitz, I actually missed the good old days of sitting with Harvey Oppenheim on the porch in the tank top.